Okay. So, hi, my name is Sarah Harris. I'm with the Florida Agritourism Association, and I appreciate everyone joining us today. I'm going to go over just some housekeeping before we get started, and I introduce Juan to you. Um, just remember to check your audio if you're having issues. There are some tips for you that might help. Um, Please keep yourself on mute. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat box, and I will monitor it. And I wanted to remind everyone that we have our annual conference next July 19th through 21st in Punta Cana, or sorry, Punta Gorda. Wish Punta Cana, that would be fabulous, at the Charlotte Harbor Event and Conference Center. So we hope you can join us there. Go ahead and mark that out on our calendar. And I'm going to introduce, if I can get out of this, our special guest. So Juan Rodrigues is here today. He's a husband and outdoor activities enthusiast. He's a graduate of the University of Puerto Rico with a bachelor's degree in agricultural sciences. He started his career in the poultry production industry in Maryland, learning a lot about managing food production in regulated manufacturing facilities with various companies. In 2013, Juan moved to Florida and had the opportunity to join the Division of Food Safety at FDACS, where he started as a field inspector. He currently works as the manager for the North Florida Retail Food Safety Team, leading and overseeing the operations of 4 of the 12 retail food districts within the state. Welcome, Juan. We're glad you can join us today.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for having me here. I hope um, this presentation would give you an insight of the cottage food law, what is intended to do, and it's all to y'all's benefit. So I really hope that you guys enjoy it. So I'm gonna share my screen here again. Bear with me, please. Okay, can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
Awesome. So again, just going to be giving a quick presentation on cottage foods in Florida. Um, Understand it is impossible to cover all the nuts and bolts and do's and don'ts of cottage foods, but this presentation would have an objective of, provide you with an overview of the cottage food regulations in the state of Florida. It would provide you general requirements for the state. And also we can discuss some limitations of selling cottage foods and some examples of the foods that may be sold under the Florida cottage food law. Okay. And let's start with the authority under this rule. This authority comes directly from Chapter 500, specifically Section 500.80 of the Florida statutes. And by definition, cottage foods operations means a natural person or an entity that produces or packages cottage food products at the residence of a natural person or at the residence of a natural person who has ownership interest in the entity and sells such products in accordance to Section 500.80.
Hey,
Okay.
Juan. We're
Yes, go ahead.
seeing the whole presentation, not the slides. You might need to switch your
Oh,
screen,
okay. I'm sorry about that. So I'm seeing here.
or you can just go through this slide.
Okay. Oh, because on my end, I can only see one slide. I'm not sure. Not sure why he's doing this, to be honest.
You might be sharing the wrong screen.
Okay, let me try it again. I'm gonna back it out.
Yeah, if you have multiple screens, you have to. There you go. That's now we can see it changing.
Okay. And you can see one slide now,
We're saying
correct?
cottage foods operations, yes, with the legal.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay, that's the slide that I just went through. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Okay, so next slide talks about general requirements for cottage food operations. Cottage food operations are meant to be fairly simple. It does have limitations. I mean, and only certain products can be sold under cottage food. So let's talk about the general requirements for it. So of course, there's no permit requirement. That's the main advantage of it. The gross sales limit has been increased a few years ago to $200,000 per year, and still um, be able to sell these products under cottage foods. So um, also, all the products have to meet packaging and labeling guidelines that we have established. So we'll talk about that a little further down. Also, it must comply with the selling methods and locations that are allowed. And all cottage food operations are subject to investigation upon consumer complaints uh, that we may receive. So that'll give us authority to uh, contact the operator and inspect the operation. Okay. And that's also, like I mentioned, it's limited to certain types of food. So we'll go over some of those in a in a few minutes. Let's talk about labeling. Labeling is one of the most frequent questions that we receive. So there's a few basic components of labeling for these products. So of course, we got to have a name and physical address of the cottage food operation. Um, PO, PO boxes or post office boxes are not acceptable for this as label or as an address. Also, the name of the product to be able to identify what it is that we're purchasing or selling. Um, a full list of ingredients that are in these products. Also, the net weight and net volume of the product. Any allergen statement has to be declared on the labeling or any allergen that is used as an ingredient. And also, it must contain a cottage food statement, um, which basically states made in a cottage food operation that is not subject to Florida's food safety regulations. Okay. And this statement must be a 10-point type minimum. Down here, we've put an example of a chocolate chip cookies. Like I said, it's fairly simple. Here you have what it is, chocolate chip cookies. You have the name of the person doing the cottage foods and the address, list of ingredients. And if you notice down in the bottom, it says contain wheat, eggs, milk, soy, walnuts. Those are some of the major allergens and has to be declared. And net weight content of the package. And down at the bottom, you see the statement for Cottage Foods. So keep in mind also that there may be other requirements that we are not uh, that we don't have control of. Let's say if your city or your county has other regulations that may prevent you from doing this type of operation where you live, that's completely out of our hands. Also, we don't have anything, any uh, any requirement as far as sales tax. That's not doesn't fall within our jurisdiction. Um, and then, like I mentioned, these operations may be subject to inspection upon a complaint that may be received. Limitations of these operations. Let's talk about the locations where these can be produced. Contrary to your normal food establishment that is permitted, these operations are limited to be produced at a single family residence or your own dwelling, at your own kitchen, if you will. Um, so that does not include any permitted facilities, garages or sheds or barns or anything else that you may have in your backyard that would not be acceptable under cottage food. And it's plain and simple. It has to be your primary dwelling, and it has to be the place where you reside. Other limitations of these operations are the location where these products are sold. They may be sold directly to the end consumer only. And it can be either be from their primary residence, at the farmer's market, flea market, roadside stand, or any other place where you establish yourself and offer these products. But again, these products have to be offered directly to the end consumer. Um, uh, some prohibited methods of sales will be wholesaling, meaning that you would not be allowed to sell to other businesses or other food entities that may want to carry your product. No restaurants or grocery stores or even consignment. So those type of sales would not be allowed under cottage food. Has to be directly from the operator, directly to the consumer. Um, like I mentioned before, it is very hard to cover the do's and don'ts and what ifs for these products. We try to keep up as much as we can with the wide variety of products that are found out there. But there may be times where we get a phone call, somebody proposed to, or not propose, but ask if a certain product is allowed, and we may have to research a little bit because there are many, many products out there that people are coming up with, and we may not yet be familiar with them. But as a general rule, it is allowed non-TCS food, which means food that do not require time or temperature for their safety. Okay. Basically, we're talking about loaves of bread, rolls, biscuits, some cakes, pies, pastries, cookies, candies, confections, honey. If you are um, harvesting from your own hives, repackaging honey would not be acceptable. And again, jams, jellies, and dried fruits and things like that. These non-TCS foods again means that foods that do not require any time or temperature control for safety. And this is due to the natural characteristics of the product. For instance, a lot of these products already have a lot of very low acidity. So these products are already considered a TCS food because of a natural characteristic. Okay. Um,
Juan, looks like we have a
yes.
question.
Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, Juan. Thank you so much so far for the presentation. Can you explain a little bit more about the honey?
Yes. So the honey is something that has other standard of identity and labeling requirements. So if you have your own hives and you harvest from your own production, then you are allowed to sell it as a cottage food. Now, let's say if you purchase the honey from someone else and buy it in bulk and you try to repackage it at home, that would not be allowed then. Okay.
What if you are, I guess this goes back to the selling to other people. So if you have a farmer who lives next door who packages the honey, you cannot sell it.
Not under cottage food. Yeah,
Okay.
it has to be strictly from your own hives, from your own production. So, okay. And again, if I at any point you feel like you need some guidance or you have an idea of an operation that you might want to conduct, you can always feel free to contact us and we can, evaluate what the product is and give you some good advice. So again, it's very hard to put in a presentation all these products that are out there, but at least, it gives us a general idea of what the intent is with this rule or law. Okay, anything else? All right, let's move forward then.
But while we're here, sorry, I said I wasn't going to interrupt you, and I am.
No
What about
worries.
salsa?
Salsa is considered an acidified product. Whenever salsa is produced, most of the times we have to add some sort of acidifier to make it shelf stable, which is another process that would require an approval. So therefore, it would not be allowed under cottage food because those are uh, special processes that require some more steps and
Okay,
approvals
you're
from
probably
the
getting to
department.
that. Okay.
Yeah. So uh, again, some more examples that I'll try to put in here. Dry herbs, those you can package if you grow them and dry them out. Seasonings, mixtures, and those sort of things they're usually safe and don't carry any potential hazard for the public as far as pathogen growth or anything like that. Homemade pasta, cereals, uh, coated nuts, even the vinegar. Some people are flavoring the vinegars and making infusions, so that'll be acceptable. And another example would be or popcorn balls. Those are products that are generally safe and really don't support the growth of any pathogenic bacteria that can harm someone. Um, Now we've covered a little bit of what's allowed. Uh, I'd like to talk a little bit about what is not allowed. Um, and salsa would fall under this category here. So TCS foods uh, as as a difference, it's foods that require a time or temperature for to maintain safety. An example of these would be raw meat. If you have meat and it's not refrigerated, it'll go bad, probably grow bacteria and could harm someone, and many other products that we have. So all of these products would not be allowed to be carried under the cottage food law. Examples of these again: fresh or dried meat, jerky products. For instance, canned fruits, vegetables, salsas, because of the characteristics of these products. Um, Fish or shellfish products, canned pickled products would not be allowed. Um, Beverages specifically are not covered under the cottage food law. Raw seeds, sprouts, and any other baked good that would require a temperature control. An example of this would be, if you notice in the bottom, there's a piece of cheesecake here. These are some types of cake that require some kind of control. In this case, of course, it's going to be temperature. Those have to be refrigerated, so therefore, those types would not be allowed.
So for beverages, for instance, you could make lemonade. under cottage food?
Um, for lemonade on its own is something that would require a permit because lemonade itself does come with some other requirements to be sold. So, you know, I don't think I've seen any beverages being, um, approved under a cottage food. And I mean, not only the state of Florida, but beverages usually have a set of different requirements. Okay, let's see. Another slide here. Some more examples would be like milk and dairy products. Cut fresh fruits and vegetables would not be allowed. Um, any juices would not be allowed as well. Um, any ice or ice products, those are products that also have other requirements, therefore require a permit. Um, barbecue sauces, ketchups, or mustards, they're not allowed, or any focaccia style bread that may have cheese or herbs into them. So those are some of the examples of products that would not be covered. Um, Again, there's many products out there that will fall under cottage food, but really, what this intends to do is take those products out there that you would normally bake or prepare at home that don't need any refrigeration on their own, or without adding any agent or any acidifier or anything like that. Um, so it's somewhat limited to in much way as far as what you can do. But it does offer an alternative for selling these type of products. And I've seen many operations that have been very successful and um, have been producing very, very good stuff. So, um, any other questions that you may think of?
So while we're in the what's allowed and what's not, and back to the honey, we did have a question. One of our members is selling honey that's packaged by someone else. So um, the person who's packaging it to sell is going through another means, not cottage food, probably, correct?
Yes. So that type of operation, it'll be considered just another or a regular food establishment would have to uh, apply and obtain a permit from our division to be able to sell those items. And again, if mm, mm, as a rule of thumb, if you have to think too much, uh, would this be is this a cottage food? Is it not? If you see that it's getting a little complicated and it has many steps that require to get to the end result, most likely it is something that would require a permit or it's a little more to it. So my best advice is, contact us and contact our division, and we help many people on making a decision whether, cottage food is for them or if obtaining a permit is a better option. And
So you singled out focaccia style bread. You can put herbs in bread. It's the cheese and things like that that gets you in trouble. Is that correct?
correct, yes. Again, TCS foods, cheese would make it a TCS. Um, or other meat products. I've seen some of these with, I can't think of maybe pepperonis or things like that, that may, or not pepperonis, but well, actually, yeah, pepperonis.
Pepperoni sausage. So anything
Yeah,
that you would add to it that would require it
anything,
to be refrigerated or
yes,
okay.
yes. And these products, sometimes you see it at the market or whatever, you see focaccia bread being sold at a ambient temperature. But these are large companies that do big amount of research and are able to prove that their product is actually shelf stable. But it's beyond the scope of what a cottage food is intended for. So
Do you know if there's a place, if FDA or whoever has a list of allergens that are required? Because I noticed you put walnuts on there, which obviously is an allergen, but is there a list somewhere that we can?
yes, yes, absolutely. If you go to the FDA website, you can type allergens, and it'll give you the list of the 9 major allergens. That is what we're looking for, or what we require to be on the label declared. So yeah, FDA has a great deal of information on allergens and things like that.
So again, if you put back to the focaccia, if you put rosemary in it, just yeast, rosemary grown on
Yeah,
top, you're
that'll be
fine.
perfectly fine. Yeah, that's an herb.
Yep.
It's dried up, so yeah, it's no risk on it at all. Um, but again, any heat treated plant foods, or the moment you put let's say cheese on it, then that'll render it a TCS product requiring uh, temperature. Okay, so that's pretty much I had. Again, this presentation it's a bit short. It's meant to give you a broad idea of what cottage food operations are, and some examples of what it allows, and some do's and don'ts. Um, Again, if you have any questions, here's our line. It's on the screen. You can feel free to contact us, and giving us your concerns, or if you're not sure about anything, you can contact us at these lines, and we'll get in contact with with you. So
Thank you. Do you mind sharing the presentation with me so I can share it?
absolutely,
Perfect.
absolutely.
And
Uh,
yes, this is very helpful. And as you pointed out, this is just for cottage food. A lot of our members do sell the lemonades and the salsas, but they're going through a different avenue.
Yes, and again, most anything that you can imagine, pretty much as far as food, it's doable. It may require a permit from our
Right.
division. It may require an approval for a specific process, but the important thing is that you gather all the materials, you do the research, you contact us, and we've guided through many people out there with their operations. We like businesses to succeed. We like cottage food operators to succeed. So um, we want to promote and support all these operations as much as we can within uh, our regulations. So again, if you guys anytime have a question or concern, feel free to reach out.
Okay. If we don't have any more questions, I just want to thank you again so much for your time. Yes,
Absolutely,
thank you.
absolutely. And
It's really important information. We get questions a lot about what can I do? And I think it's good. You can cook in your home kitchen. What do you cook at home that doesn't
yes,
require refrigeration? That pretty much sums it up.
yes, and we do receive a lot of questions, believe it or not. I mean, every week we get bombarded with questions about these and that, and what can I do? Can I do this? And it's people out there trying to get something going and showing great interest in these type of operations, and it's quite interesting.
Now, one
Um,
more. Now, it's been a few years, but when the law was passed to expand the dollar amount from 50,000 to 250, you can now take orders online too, correct?
Correct. Yes, you
Okay.
can take payments online for
Okay.
for these type of products. Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
I know
And
before you could not.
yes, and yeah, and again, this presentation is so new. I just updated everything, so I'm trying to get familiar myself with everything I put in here,
That's great.
because some of the changes kicked in, and um, we don't we don't do a whole lot of these presentations, and unless you guys or somebody invite us, and which we'll gladly go and
Well,
talk a
we
little bit.
appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, absolutely, anytime, anytime.
Okay. Make sure we don't have any more questions. I think that's it. Um, so yeah, thank you again, Juan, and we'll be in touch if we need anything else from you in food safety.
Absolutely. And hope you guys have a good
All
afternoon,
right.
and
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
thank you for having me again.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.